Well, hey, howdy, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to join me today. I really do appreciate it. My name is Ellie, and I'm a witch. This over here is my teaching assistant, Andy, and today is Monday, and on my channel that means it is Misheard History, and today's topic is the history of Santa Claus. So, like I said, I'm going to get more Christmassy towards the end of the month. Next, actually, we'll be talking about the history of Christmas, and that video will be released on Christmas Day. Well, I'm not sure how many people are going to watch a YouTube video on Christmas, but you know what? I'm excited to talk about it anyway. But if you're not interested in history, I do have several other series on this channel. I have Cryptid Countdown that I talk about on Sundays, and then on Tuesdays I do Tea Time and True Crime. And I also have Killmas going on at the moment. I'm not sure what day it is, but I will be releasing another video a couple of hours after this one is out, which will be a true crime case. But I also talked about the Creatures of Christmas for the first slash fourth day of Killmas. I messed that up, but that was super fun. And I will also be doing Christmas Tale readings, as well as I'll be reading Twas the Night Before Christmas on Christmas Eve. And the rest of them are going to be true crime cases. Some of them are a little bit heavy. I do want to warn anybody about that. However, not all of them are. I'm not going to say any of them are fun. They're true crime cases, but they're at least not as heavy as some of the ones that I've talked about this whole time. It just like on Tea Time True Crime as well as Killmas. But I don't want to ramble too much because I do want to talk about the history of Santa Claus, so let's go ahead and jump into the video. So the furthest back that we can track St. Nicholas is 280 BCE, where a monk who would go by the name St. Nicholas was born. At the time, he was in a place called Patara, which is now Myra, Turkey, and St. Nicholas was known for his kindness and piety. And stories say that he gave his wealth away and traveled the countryside to help those in need. One of the most famous of these stories is when St. Nicholas was traveling and he stopped a father from selling his 3 daughters into either slavery or prostitution, depending on the story. But he did that by paying their dowry so they could instead be married. And this St. Nicholas specifically died on December 6th, which is why we celebrate St. Nicholas Day on the 6th. So as these legends of St. Nicholas spread, other countries started to adopt their own version of the story. St. Nicholas soon became the protector of children and sailors. Not just in Turkey, though. He became very popular in Europe and even stayed the most popular saint even after the Protestant Reformation, which was a time the veneration of saints was discouraged, and Holland especially liked the idea of St. Nicholas. So St. Nicholas did make his way to the United States, and that was in December of 1773 and 1774 notably. New York papers were reporting that Dutch families were gathering to honor the anniversary of the death of St. Nicholas, and the Dutch name for St. Nicholas is spelled like this, and it is often shortened to Sinterklaas. Now, Americans piggyback off of that version specifically, and we called our version of St. Nicholas Santa Claus. In 1809, Washington Irving helped to popularize Santa Claus in America when he referred to St. Nicholas as the Saint of New York in his book, The History of New York. Other countries have also changed St. Nicholas's name as well, and I'm definitely going to butcher some of these, so I do apologize. But around the world, we have Father Christmas, Père Noël, La Befana, Agios Vasilos, Kris Kringle, and Dead Moros. And there are so many more variations of how to say his name, but at the end of the day, each of these figures is considered the same or similar to the original St. Nicholas. Not all of these variations lived in the same place, however. So Christmas is rooted in pagan beliefs and traditions, which I will actually talk about further next week when I talk about the history of Christmas. But these beliefs have a mythology of their own, and we draw on those tales when speaking of Santa Claus. So where this magic man lives varies based on where you live. Here in America, we believe that Santa Claus lives at the North Pole. This belief is thanks to Thomas Nast, who was an American cartoonist. Now, he had submitted 33 cartoons to Harper's Weekly magazine between 1863 and 1886, and one of these cartoons featured Santa Claus's home in Santa Clausville, NP. The NP standing for North Pole. And for some reason, everyone kind of loved that, and it became canon for America. If you're Dutch, however, you believe that Sinterklaas comes from Spain. The Finnish people believe he lives in Lapland, where we have another possible origin of the Santa Claus character. And we also have beliefs of him living in Greenland, Alaska, and Russia. So some of you may be asking, what's with the gift giving though? And same. But it seems a bit strange for this man to spend all of his time making gifts, keep track of all of the children in the world, and then deliver thousands of gifts in one night, and all out of the kindness of his heart. But that's genuinely why he does it. St. Nicholas in life was known as this generous man, and so it wouldn't be out of character for him to devote so much of his time to making others happy. That being said, in most places, St. Nicholas still gets a little something for his troubles. Here in America, we leave out milk and cookies and sometimes carrots for the reindeer. In Australia, they leave out cookies and a glass of beer. Some families in Ireland leave out a glass of Guinness. Britain follows suit by leaving out some brandy. People in Argentina leave out hay and water for the king's horses. And in Argentina, they actually celebrate until January 6th, which is called the Three Kings Day. So on the 5th, they leave out the hay for the horses. And so the people of the Netherlands is also in line with America and leaving out carrots and hay for the horses, not reindeer, that pull the sleigh. Denmark leaves out rice pudding for the elves. Those in Iceland leave out leaf bread. French children leave carrots and cookies, and German children leave handwritten letters for St. Nicholas. So the reindeer aspect of Christmas is not totally known in origin. I did talk about it a little bit last week in my Creatures of Christmas video, but from what we know, the origins of flying reindeer came from Lapland, where reindeer live, and they are thought to fly after many drugs and strange interactions. However, there are other places you could say the idea came from. We see them as Santa's companions in Clement More's poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, which we also know as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. We see the 8 reindeer pulling the sleigh and even get their names, but this is not the only mention of reindeer pals, however. In 1902, L. Frank Baum published the story The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, which has 10 reindeers, who are also called by name, although these ones are nowhere near the same as the 8 in 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So these reindeer are called Flossie and Glossy, Racer and Pacer, Reckless and Speckless, Fearless and Peerless, and then Ready and Steady. But, of course, you can never forget the most famous reindeer of all, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The origins of our lead reindeer come from 1939. Montgomery Ward Department Store asked Robert L. May to write a story to give the shoppers as a little promotional gimmick. The origins of Rudolph are, however, not very happy. Many dislike the idea that bullying was almost acceptable in reindeer standards, or that your worth is what you can give to other people. That is not the sad that I'm talking about, though. Robert also had a hard life. He grew up being the shy boy who was teased, and while he was writing the story, his wife was sick and dying. But he tried to look at the positives. He wanted the story to be about a reindeer because they were already associated with Christmas, but also because his daughter loved to go and see the deer at the zoo. So he had the animal, but didn't know what to do with the story or the name. So he ended up taking inspiration from 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and wanted an R name to go along with the alliteration. He thought of Rollo, too happy for a sad reindeer, Roderick, Reggie, Ronald, too sophisticated, until he came to Rudolph. So the idea of the red nose came on a foggy day, actually. Robert looked out the window and he saw all the fog, and he thought, what if Rudolph's nose helped guide the sleigh? Rudolph almost didn't actually have his signature red nose, however. When the story was given to beta readers, most people voiced that the red nose reminded them of alcoholism. But regardless, Robert's perseverance gave us the beloved red-nosed reindeer. Now, some fun facts I found that I didn't know where else to put it. So, Santa Claus actually has a pilot's license issued by the United States government in 1927. Both Mr. and Mrs. Claus have Canadian passports, which were issued in 2013, and it is debated as to whether or not Santa Claus is an elf. Now, I personally didn't know this was a debate, but I'm leaning towards elf. It wasn't until 1849 that Mrs. Claus came onto the scene. The idea of Santa chimneying down the chimney came from the same man who created the Headless Horseman. In the US, all letters addressed to Mr. Claus go to the same post office. In 1991, Marvel named Santa the most powerful mutant ever, and France sends the most letters to St. Nicholas than any other country. So that's all I have for you today. This one was super fun to talk about and research. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know, so that was super interesting. And I didn't know that other countries debated where Santa Claus lived. I thought that it was just kind of a universal, everybody thought he lived at the North Pole. So that was really interesting to find out that other countries don't believe that. Along with the beer thing, like I did not know that most of the countries leave out alcohol for Santa Claus instead. I don't know why we're so lame then. Our parents probably just wanted to get drunk here too. But so that was a lot of fun. Next week I will be talking about the history of Christmas, which is rooted in a lot of pagan traditions and beliefs, which I think is super interesting. But I do have other videos coming out. I have another one today, I have 2 tomorrow, and then many leading up until Christmas Day. But I also have a video on Christmas Day, which I just said, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and tell me a fun fact about Santa Claus that I didn't touch on in this video. That would be super cool. And then if you didn't like the video, go ahead and hit that dislike button and tell me what you think I could improve in the comments down below. I, of course, welcome constructive criticism. Just make sure that it is constructive and not cruel. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye!